Live from New York, it's Ask an Engineer.
Hey everybody, and welcome to another fantastic, fabulous, and full of electronics show and not show and tell. Ask an Engineer. It's me, Lady Ada, who doesn't know what time it is, and with me is Mr. Lady Ada, who's on camera control and doesn't know what time it is. And what time is it? It's time for Ask an Engineer, the bestest, longest running live engineering show.
That's right.
In the universe. Yeah, I'm saying it right now. There's no other planet in the known universe that has as long-running a live electronic show.
I don't think so.
I think
there's another show going on.
There's another show. There's probably another electronic show, but it's only like 2 years. There's only been 2 years.
No, I think there's an identical parallel Ask an Engineer going on right now, and they're talking about this very same thing.
Yeah, but they haven't been doing it for 5 years like that.
They have been.
Really?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's a pretty big universe.
We have big discussions about parallel universes.
We've done this before, and we're going to do it again.
Okay.
So, speaking of.
All right. Well, I guess I might as well just go ahead and tell them what's on today's show then,
yeah.
Unless they're in that parallel universe and they already know.
Unless you've already seen this.
Okay.
The code is ALD 14. I should change that real fast. Okay, the code is ALD 14, folks. Not ALD. It's ALD 14. That's the code tonight. We'll be celebrating Ada Lovelace Day. We'll be talking about that. Show and tell. We've got packet of mailbag stopping by. Adafruit Jobs Board. Adafruit Learning System. Wearables. 3D printing. Some big amazing news in the world of Pi. New products. We'll answer your questions. A trivia question. All that and more on, you guessed it, Ask an Engineer.
In this known universe.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
So, anyways, the code is ALD 14.
Why is that?
Because it's Ada Lovelace Day.
What?
Yeah.
Tell me about this.
It's ALD 14, and it was a worldwide celebration of women in science, technology, engineering, and math. And as usual, Adafruit had a ton of amazing women spotlighted on the Adafruit blog.
Yeah.
We had at least one an hour, but then we stepped it up, and then we had at least one every half an hour. So we always run out of time.
But we should tell them what Ada Lovelace was.
Well, you should say it, because
I'm saying we as in like you and me, not like the royal we.
Yeah, okay.
We should tell them. Ada Lovelace was a mathematician, and I guess what some people call her the first programmer. She worked on the difference engine, the theoretical difference engine, which was, now I have to think of exactly what year she was working on. It was the Victorian era. Somebody has like 1890. But you look up on Wikipedia to get more specific dates, because I'm very bad at dates in history. I failed history. But she was really interested in how you could load programs, and they weren't called programs, but load new capabilities into the difference engine, and so worked out the math and theory on programming. And so she's considered like the kind of patron saint of programming. Came up with the idea of programming before it was possible, before we even have computers. And then, of course, later on, we have a programming language called Ada in her honor. Adafruit is also named in her honor. She's really cool. There's a lot of really great movies about her too. If you don't want to read the Wikipedia page, I've watched a couple movies. She also had great style and great hair. Yeah, and
a little bit of a smoking and drinking problem.
She has a little bit of a smoking, drinking,
and gambling
problem. Yeah, a little bit.
Like all great engineers.
Like all great engineers. Well, I don't really gamble, but I see why if you could use
you don't think running an electronics company in 2014 is the biggest high-risk gamble that you can do?
But it's not like gambling in the same way. I still use math a lot, but I'm not at the tables.
No, we're at the big tables.
At the big table. Anyways.
Yeah. This is a gamble.
Okay, so she's cool, so check her out. And there's now many Ada-named groups and organizations. There's the Ada Initiative. There's Ada Lovelace Day. I think there's probably more Ada type things, and there's Adafruit, of course. And I've been going by Lady Ada for at least 20 years now. Yeah. So I've been going by the name Lady Ada for 20 years. So I'm gonna lay claim to that username on every website and service that I log in on. But there's more room for more Ada always. Okay.
Well, we'll go over that in a little bit too. So first up, Bitcoin. We accept it. Every time we have this thing, because I think Bitcoin's a little zany, we have some Bitcoin news. So
what?
We were talking about this today. So I guess someone reported that they tried to buy that ATM, that Bitcoin ATM. So they wired money to the company, and they never got their Bitcoin ATM.
I don't know if it was actually Bitcoin. It might have been another coin. Actually,
there was some ATM company that they you put in your ATM card and then
Yeah.
you get this digital currency.
Okay.
So maybe so.
Has it, it's 1840s.
1840.
Okay. See, I was not even close.
Okay. So I thought that was interesting that there's the need for this stuff, the demand.
Yeah.
And then last week we talked about, maybe it was a week before, the Butterfly Labs, that company. They were making Bitcoin machines, and it's unclear if they were mining coins before they send them to customers. All
It's just a mess.
sorts of things.
You should just follow our tutorial on how to make your own Raspberry Pi miner. Don't buy one.
Bitcoin, not only is it a currency, but it comes with a weird story every week. The fellow who Newsweek said was the founder, Satoshi.
Yeah.
The person they identified is now crowdfunding a lawsuit against
Really?
Newsweek. Yeah, it is.
Okay.
You couldn't write this stuff.
Does he take Bitcoin donations?
It's like William Gibson's going to eventually come out and say, "Hey, it was me all along. This is novel."
This is cool. Yeah. Well, only if like Satoshi was actually like a hologram, like Japanese or
Yeah, he's touring with
K-pop player.
Miku now. So.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So show and tell, Lady Ada, who was on the show and tell this week?
Okay. Let me go through the show and tell.
Oh, by the way, the show and tell is our weekly event where we have people from around the world show their projects.
Yeah, we usually say it at the end.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
You want me to do this thing?
Yeah.
Okay. First up, we had Tony from Adafruit Northwest. He's an Adafruit team member. And he didn't have a new thing because he's working on a very big project right now, which we'll hope to release in a month or two. Yeah, some projects take like 2 months, like 3 engineers in 2 months. These are big projects. But we're gunning for him. We think it's going to be awesome. It'll be totally worth it. So check in a few months, see how Tony's project went. But he showed off his first soldering project ever, which was soldering a mod chip into a PlayStation 1. And this was a little microcontroller chip that you could use to, what it would do is it would send a data stream, it would inject the data stream into one of the PlayStation chips. It was actually like a UART data, I believe, if I can recall correctly. And it would say like, yeah, this CD or DVD is valid, contains valid data. What they would do is they had like these like corrupted tracks, and you have to look for them. And there was a checker, so you couldn't just duplicate the CDs. But the way around it was to actually just install this chip. And so he showed up his first soldering job, and he actually messed it up, and then he fixed it, and he was really proud. And I don't know, it looked actually pretty good. He soldered to like a surface mount part without much difficulty. So good on you, Tony, for providing evidence of your past misdeeds. Noah and Pedro came by from Adafruit Southeast. They they do our 3D projects and 3D hangouts. They do 3D Thursday or weekly 3D printing hangout fun extravaganza, and check that out tomorrow at 3 p.m. This week they showed off a future project, which is this cool flying toaster necklace, which they made for me. Thank you. It has little animations of flying toasters, programmed by Phil B.
Do you want to show it over the overhead liner?
Yeah, maybe we'll show them later. Maybe after the 3D Thursday thing.
Okay, if everyone's good,
you
can see some OLED flying toasters.
OLED flying toasters. And then also this Hulkbuster costume that they worked on as a collaboration. Check that out. This is a massive costume, and they did this cool LED rings. Also with the fine programming skills of Paint Your Dragon, Phil B., who is master of LEDs and flying toasters. Then Sergey came by, and he made a really cool LED glove with NeoPixel strips and like a circle and a color sensor. And this glove is like super neat. It does like color sensing and effects, and like the fingers light up. It's actually a beautiful project. Thank you for showing that off. Daniel came in. He works for Leap, and they make the Leap Motion, which is a little 3D hand sensor. It uses a camera to detect finger locations, and you can like map and model fingers. And they showed off their latest tracking software, which not only does hand and fingertips, but actually does all the digits as well in the palm, which is amazing. And he says it's actually not even, you can use this software with all the old Leap Motions, so be sure to download that if you have one. We now have the Leap Motion in the store, so we wanted to come in and show some of the stuff you can do with it. It's really amazing, an incredible sensor, and they're also doing a hackathon, $75,000 in prizes, so if you want to do some games with Indiecade or like Oculus Rift, go check out Leap Motion. I'm sure their blog has all the stuff on it. Roberto came by with a gigantic LED matrix belt buckle that was just like totally insane.
That's right.
We couldn't really tell what was going on because it was so bright, but it was some belt buckle that was like this big. Rhett C came in with another old project. This is the second old project of the day. It was from 1990. Him and his grandfather made an LED bar graph that was powered up at 9 volts. So 9 volts, some LEDs, It's acrylic they drilled out, but like it's like cool. It's heirloom, and because they're LEDs, it still works. Like there's nothing to burn out.
Yeah.
And this was before blue LEDs, so the rainbow actually just goes like red, orange, yellow, green.
Yeah.
Like, it
Well,
stops.
I made the joke on show and tell, but there's a person that could say, back in my day, we didn't have blue. You guys don't have. You kids don't know how good you have
Well,
it.
now we have like white, so you can just put a gel or like nail polish. You can have like pink LED. This is ridiculous. You guys, it's so lucky. So lucky to have pink LEDs.
Yeah.
So you really like this project, old project. I do want more old projects because I think they're great. You don't have to show new stuff, show old stuff too.
Yeah.
And then C. Scott came in. He, of course, has 8 projects. First thing he showed up was, of course, the first mod chip when he designed the mod chip. So he had the first one, and he still has it
That was
with
really
the
cool.
hand-etched board and the PIC 12C508, which everyone learned how to program microcontrollers with. And he's also talked about his CrowBX, his OBX clone that he's going to make Euroax sized, and he programmed some NeoPixels to have some cool Halloween orange, yellow colors that he will maybe decorate his garage with, and then you can update that to be I don't know, turkey colors and then Christmas colors. So
Yeah.
that was the show and tell. It was epic and wonderful. And if you would like to show off your project next week, Wednesdays, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, join me and like 8 other fantastic creative people. You can do so by going to our Google Plus page at plus.google.com/plus_Adafruit. Look for the thread where we say, comment here to get added to our Adafruit show and tell circle. Comment there and you'll get added to the 500 other people that are invited every single week to show off their project.
Okay.
And of course, to get a show and tell sticker.
All
See the
participants on show and tell get it as seen on show and tell sticker. You email us, we email to you. That's how it works.
Yeah, email us if you have been on the show and tell and you never got your sticker. We'll send you a sticker. It's
Okay.
vinyl, it's high quality.
Okay. And
We did this.
don't forget, it's all on Google Plus.
Yep.
And we've changed the show and tell a little bit. There's one thing that we decided to do, and I like it a lot. We're going to keep
Okay.
doing it.
What's the
If
thing?
you have old retro tech, something maybe you didn't make it, but it's something that's very important to you.
Mm-hmm.
We have people showing the thing they first soldered, some really old things
Yeah.
from the past, in the world of electronics.
Yeah.
Show it it's on the show and tell. It's fine.
Yeah, it's actually something you make. If you have like a
Yeah.
really old like oscilloscope, like people have shown like old, I remember somebody came on and showed their oscilloscope photography rig that they had
Yeah.
for like taking Polaroids of oscilloscope traces. It's cool just to talk about what people did. I mean, like, 70s and 80s engineers were brilliant. I mean, they had to do all this without blue LEDs. So,
Yeah.
like, whatever they did, it could be very instructive and informative for your project.
Yeah. Okay. Next up, Pack the Mailbag. We get your letters every single week. Thank you for sending these. We read these in front of the entire company. We post them on our website. We have lots of folks that really like what we do, and when we help them out, they let us know. So this person emailed us, and it's Rick, and Rick says, fantastic. Thank you for the crazy quick response in both emails and shipping. We look forward to seeing all we can do with these.
What's these?
I think you ordered some LEDs.
Okay.
Yeah, probably some blue LEDs.
Obvious and blue LEDs. Yeah, without
So-
blue LEDs, we couldn't have NeoPixels because NeoPixels have
That's
a
right.
blue LED die.
Okay.
Wow, so much we are so thankful for. This Thanksgiving, be thankful for blue
Yeah.
LEDs.
Adafruit Jobs Board. Did you know, Lady Ada, that we have one of the best places online to post a job
Boy, did
or
I ever.
post skills?
Okay.
So we do this because we didn't find a single place online where makers could post their skills and the type of jobs they want to get, and companies who want cool people who are in the maker world to come work for them. And if you look at all the big companies like Intel and whoever else, they want all these like Arduino people who know like how to make projects.
Apple posted once.
Apple, everybody,
Yeah.
everybody, like every big company's posts on the Adafruit Jobs board.
Yeah.
We approve these. By we, I mean me. I look at it, make sure it's not
But
headhunters.
how much does it cost?
They cost nothing.
It costs nothing
Yeah.
to apply, post, view. It is like super, super free. We used a great open source Jobber project, which allows us to integrate it. All you need is an account just so it doesn't get spammy. And you can create your own. You can actually say, I'm available to be hired or I'm looking to hire.
Yeah.
And we've heard like 20, 25 people at least have gotten jobs.
Lots of matchmaking. Okay, so this one is Bluetooth Surface Development. We are looking to develop a battery-powered Bluetooth surface temperature sensor that will store 30 days rolling min-max data, anything between hourly and daily depending on resources. The data is to be transferred to a mobile device within range. The mobile device will then be able to upload the data to a server for remote viewing. There will be multiple devices each location, So we require a way of identifying all the available devices have successfully transferred data.
Sounds like a good job for Bluetooth Low Energy and the Lexus temperature sensor.
Yeah. Okay. So don't forget the code is ALD14. Did some mid-show graphic editing.
Okay. Yeah, you can center it. Oh, it's just...
Yeah, well, it's okay. Look, I just do. Okay,
there you go.
That's the code, ALD14. Don't forget, if you hit $200, you get free UPS ground, continental US, $99 or more. You get the Perma Proto. You can double those up, and you can use the code.
Yeah, you can get free Perma Proto. Everyone loves Perma Protos. We got a big shipment of them, and we're offering them for all orders over $99. They are forever handy.
Yeah. Okay, so next up, Ada Lovelace Day that we talked about before.
That's right.
So this is what we did this year. I'm going to hop over to here. This is always a little complicated.
Okay. Let's do this. There you go.
Okay.
You
did it. Okay, so this is our blog. If you go to adafruit.com/blog and you just type in #ALD14, you can see now the hundreds of women that have been in technology, art, science, engineering, math, you name it.
Okay.
And I just want to read some of the names that we had. So Erin Robot Girl, Morgan Ames, Ruth Farmer, Debbie Sterling, Danielle Perdomo. Oh, she was on our show.
Yeah.
Guinevere Bell, Katie Vega. Let's see.
I think it's Katya.
Katya. Yeah, I'm going to probably butcher a lot of these names.
Bala,
Yeah.
Francesca Rosella.
Gabrielle Levine.
Julian Akin.
Yeah. Shirley Ann Jackson, Sally Byers, Carla Deanna, Amber Case. So Zoe from Arduino. And so what we like to do.
Shaolin Zheng.
Yeah.
Durada Habib.
And so what we like to
Allison
do
Birch,
is
Kimberly Bryant.
spotlight a lot of these women who normally don't get
There's a lot.
in the spotlight.
Marissa. Olivia. Edith. I don't know. Stephanie Druga.
Yeah.
Jim Ming Xia. Helen Grainer.
Yeah.
Divya Kolar.
Kate Hartman just came out with her
Hartman?
book. Yeah.
Julia Ehrman.
Grace Hopper.
Grace Hopper.
Lenora
Lenora
Elvin.
Edmond.
Yep.
You know her. Lenora.
Yeah. And so
Reshma,
that's what's one of the
Carrie
things that's
Philbin.
cool about this. We know a lot of the women in this list.
Jay Chi, who makes those circus stickers. We stock now. Jennifer Turlick.
Yeah.
Okay,
so that was our coverage that we did. Findingada.org has a lot of cool stuff. It's now becoming a worldwide event. There's lots of sites that have spotlighted cool men in tech. Sparkman had a good post. Mm-hmm. Everyone who's trying to make a difference, getting more people involved. Electronics, I think, is one of the best communities out there. There's all sorts of tech communities that are going through their own growing pains to figure out how they can be inclusive and get everyone in. The Maker Movement's done a pretty good job.
Yeah, what's actually cool about Ada Lovelace Day is you're supposed to post one. Well, we post 24.
Well,
and
we do 50 now, I think.
50
yeah,
now. But then look at previous years, because we don't not that we wouldn't cover everybody, but we try to get new people in.
Yeah.
So if you want, check out ALD13, ALD12, and I think even ALD11, the hashtags on our blog, because we've posted previous years tons more women. I think there was one year we posted 50 or 70 different women, which was pretty amazing.
Oops.
What?
Now I've got that graphic out of the way. Okay. So let me get out of this.
Whoa.
Very complicated doing screen sharing.
I know.
On a live show.
Did it.
Okay, yeah. So the other thing that's kind of neat is every year recently we've taken a photo of all the women at Adafruit. Mm-hmm. And so last year, just I think 6 or 7. Yeah. Now we have more women who work at Adafruit than we had total people of Adafruit just about last year. So not pictured here is 5 other
There's
women.
5 more women who are either who are remote or
they just were scheduled to be in that day.
Yeah, they weren't in that day.
So big shout out to all the people at Adafruit that run it. So thank you so much.
Do you have to name everybody?
Not going to go through everybody's name because I don't want to run out of time. But we have a lot, and what's great is every single one of them is a big important part of the company. And I made a joke because we have 2 sections of Adafruit now. We have the new section that we're moving into. So we're going to have 30,000 square feet altogether. So when we're doing the photo, I'm like, hey, we don't need those other guys. You just start our own company on this side.
This is the new space that we just bought. That's why it's so empty.
Yeah.
And this is
I would have been kicked out because I thought maybe the all-women version of Adafruit totally beat the all-guy version.
That would be tough if we did the old
no, I already know the answer to
comedy
it.
trope
No,
of girls versus boys.
All days are numbered for guys. So anyways, these are some of the most important people at Adafruit, and it's great to have
And
a
check
lot
out
of them.
Mariko's shoes down there. Those are so cool.
Yeah, we
great
got
shoes.
some hip people. Okay.
They all look great.
So thank you everyone
are
who had
great.
a great Ada Lovelace day, and we'll see you at ALD 15
Yes.
next year.
There'll be more.
Yeah. All right. So next up, Adafruit Learning System. 611 tutorials.
I think we put like a bunch live. I think maybe it's up to 615 by now.
Yeah.
I can't wait. We're going to be at like 700. We just celebrated 600 recently. Did we blog about it? I don't even know we did. I we didn't.
Yeah, things are moving fast.
It was fast. All right.
Okay, so thank you, Becky, for posting up this one. This is the continuation of another tutorial. This is the Bandolier of Light.
Yes.
Bullets of pure love.
Okay. Here, I'm going to put it on. Yeah, this is a 3D printing and NeoPixel and Gemma project. So I'm going to be all like lit up now. I don't know if it's going to be super visible on the lighting because it's so bright. But she's going as a cyber tank girl, and so she made this really cool 3D printed flex bandolier of bullets, and they're like little bullet shapes. And then she stitched fabric around and then tucked a NeoPixel strip behind it. So as you can see in the images, not here because it's studio lighting, it's very bright, it glows, and so it's looking cool and also really safe because it's extremely dark out now.
Yeah. I was telling Becky that if she went to Comic-Con with this, she would have been like the hit.
Yeah, this is intense, and she's working. As you're watching Becky's videos, she did the goggles for herself.
Yeah.
She did her own goggles. She did dog goggles with a laser pointer that goes bleep bleep, and then she also had the choker from before, and then the light bandolier. So she has like 6 or 7 parts. She's actually like a walking Adafruit wearable advertisement now.
Yeah. Okay. Next up. This is the new one. This is the 3D printed bionic eye. The animated GIF is cool. You can see what it is, but it uses little servos. Beep, beep,
Yeah,
beep,
this
little
is
good trinket
I didn't
project.
understand it at first, but then as I read through the tutorial, so it's even though it's on a skull, it's actually meant to be worn by a person, but they just didn't put a person. It was this. I think this is Bill who wrote this. Sorry, can you hide my name?
I think it was Rick, but I'll double check.
Bill.
Sorry.
It was Bill. I think this is for Bill's kid, so I think they didn't have the picture of the kid, but wears the goggles. And then this gigantic 3D printed eyeball shape actually turns and twists around. There's 2 microservos inside that twist against it, so you can see through one eye, and the other eye has this like weird, creepy eyeball motion. So it's good if you're like kind of going as a crazy character, like a mutant character or a zombie. But it's amazing because it's a great use of 3D printing for costuming because the circle is 3D printed, but it includes the mounting brackets for the servo. This is stuff that you just totally can't do. It's like you could try to cut open like a ping pong ball, but you won't be able to mount the servos, and it just doesn't work.
Yeah. Okay. Next up. This is a network interface failover using Phonet. So this is cool. This fellow was on our show and tell not too long ago.
Yeah.
And he had shown that he had a security system.
Home
Home
system.
security, had his phone all
emails
hooked up.
him normally. Yeah.
Emails, like you use the doorbell, takes your photo, like all sorts of, every startup that's going to be coming out in the next year is to just like look at his
He's
video.
the future.
Yeah. So I can imagine Nest going into a thing where you have a Wi-Fi doorbell. That's perfect.
That's a good idea, yeah.
So was on the show and tell. I said, "Oh, like we'll send you out some phonas, because if your internet goes down, how does he get messages?"
Yeah.
So this uses a phona. Very cool Internet of Things project that shows how you can take all the smart home-like stuff, all the network management stuff, all the home monitoring stuff, and then what happens when there's no network connectivity? Well, you should still be able to get notified, so you can use a phona.
Yeah.
That's a cool project. All right.
Yeah, he shows how to do it for Pi and BeagleBone Black. So yeah, just autofill. It's super
Yeah.
smart. Like, you don't use the cellular network until you absolutely have to. When you have to, it switches over, and then SMSs or emails. I think it actually does email.
Yeah.
But it can do anything. It's basically a network connection. Does what it has to, and then as soon as it detects Ethernet, it comes back down. So you're like covered
Okay.
in case of power failure or whatever.
Next, we have Warbles. Okay, so speaking of glowing bullets of love,
Okay.
here's a video.
My Halloween costume this year is a cyberpunk take on the comic icon Tank Girl. We've already modded up these goggles and the studded choker with NeoPixels in previous tutorials. Today we're 3D printing a bandolier of light using NeoPixel strip and white Ninja Flex filament. To build this project, we'll be using some 60 pixel per meter NeoPixel strip, fabric, sewing supplies, Gemma or Trinket microcontroller, and a battery pack. Download and print the free file from our complete tutorial. The link is in the description. The piece is designed to tile into a long belt or bandolier. Use as many as you need to achieve your desired length. Sandwich the NeoPixel strip between the NinjaFlex and fabric and sew them together. Use our sample code, then mod it up to display your own custom color patterns. You can even extend it to add a sensor to have your LEDs react to motion, sound, or temperature. You can put the battery pack in a pocket or attach it to your belt. Just make sure you provide adequate strain relief in case the wires get tugged. To wire up this circuit and learn more about the other elements of my costume, head over to the Adafruit Learning System, where you'll also find plenty of other examples of 3D printing and wearable electronics to inspire your own Halloween getup. What are you making for Halloween? Let us know in the comments and on our weekly Show and Tell hangout on Google+. Have a happy Halloween and subscribe for more wearable electronics from Adafruit.
Okay.
We were just.
All right, and I'm sporting this beautiful thing. I'm just going to show it off really fast. Can you show it off the overhead? Because it's kind of neat.
Yeah.
Do we have a second to do
Yeah,
that?
we got plenty of seconds.
Okay. Plenty of seconds. So this is.
May I turn off the lights? No, the
no.
light. That's light. I'm talking about these other lights.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a. Is this auto? Yeah, whatever. Cool, yeah.
Is that helpful?
Yeah. Can you do the other one?
Yeah.
And I'll show it really fast and you can turn it back on.
Yeah, you can
Okay,
show it on
woo,
you.
that's not lovely. Yeah, so there's a NeoPixel strip sewn underneath here, and then these are, you can see that there's like, 5 or so bullets per section, so you can print it on even like your printer bot. And then it's all controlled by a little Gemma over here, and you can program in your own code. This is just an example, like a LED rainbow tester program, but you can program in whatever your favorite colors are, and it looks really great because you can kind of tell what it is, but also has a fun, like rubbery, flexible, not so dangerous and pointy 3D print. So it's a good combo, and the flexible filament diffuses the LEDs very nicely as well.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good time. I can show off my thing.
Yeah.
You want to show off now?
Yeah, we can.
Or you want to go straight to the next video?
No, we're totally fine.
Okay.
I have to say this on air, so I remember. All the times we show LEDs, I should probably just have a switch here where I can turn off the lights to show all this LEDs
because
I have to get up and then do that.
Electronics and servos, and if only we had all that stuff.
No, I just haven't had time.
I know. Well, we don't do that often.
Okay.
I'll show this one.
Okay.
We actually don't usually show off dim LEDs.
Yeah, but we should.
Okay.
Oh, this looks great on that.
Yeah, this is we could just a little bit. Whoa, that's way too. How did it used to auto? Okay, so this is a 3D printed little case, and it has a Pro Trinket in it, and this has got a great plastic. It's got this like kind of Mac look to it with a little slot, and there's a vibration switch, so whenever I tap it, it turns on. And so that, it goes into like a low power sleep mode. So it only turns on when you want, or you can change it to program to loop all the time. And then Phil B, I think, actually like did pixel grabs of flying toaster like screenshots, and then reanimated them on the OLED, and it looks fantastic because the OLED is like, even though it's not that big, it's very crisp and clear, and looks fantastic. So yeah, I've got flying toasters. I always wanted a little flying toaster animated pendant. And now I has one. Thank you, Noah and Pedro and Phil B.
Yeah. Okay. So next up, we have some
Okay, we'll put this back on.
3D printing videos. So I'm catching up on videos this week, so I'm going to play the first one. This one is, you'll just have to wait and see.
Okay.
Yeah. Here it is. I'm going to turn back on the lights.
Hey everybody, welcome to another 3D Thursday. I'm Noah.
And I'm Pedro. Today we're going to be working on a cosplay-inspired project in collaboration with James Bruton from X Robots.
That's right, we're prototyping a Unibeam, the infamous repulsion weapon from Iron Man. This 3D printed prop is going inside of James's Hulkbuster project.
That's right, the Hulkbuster is a massive Iron Man-inspired suit James built with 3D printed parts and various other materials. So check out James's YouTube channel for more details on the Hulkbuster project.
Hulkbuster! So to make the Unibeam circuit, we're using 2 NeoPixel rings, a couple of single NeoPixel LEDs, and Gemma, which is an easy-to-use, bite-sized microcontroller.
NeoPixel LEDs are individually addressable and can be connected together in a chain, sharing just one data connection along with power and ground.
Be sure to check out our guide on the Adafruit learning system to follow along with the circuit diagram so you can build one at home. You can also find the link in the description below.
Silicone-coated wires are great for these types of projects because they offer that extra flexibility. Some 26 to 30 gauge wires work best here.
The artwork for the 3D printed parts were designed in Adobe's Illustrator and imported into 123D Design as an SVG. That way we can make the shapes a lot easier.
The parts are designed to print support free and just happens to take full advantage of our big printing area on the Lulzbot Taz 4.
With the components wired up, it's easy to fit the circuit inside the printed parts because everything just snap fits together.
The multi-layer design really adds depth to the details and incorporates design elements from your favorite sci-fi movies.
And now we have a giant 3D printed Unibeam. Just don't look directly into it because it's pretty bright.
So if you want to see the final Unibeam in action, watch James Bruton's channel for more. Thanks so much for watching, and if you dig this project, please let us know by clicking that like button below.
And don't forget to subscribe for more 3D printed projects from Adafruit.
See you guys next week.
Bye everybody.
Okay. We're back in the land of light.
In the meantime, Phil B tells me that he drew the toasters by hand for my flying toaster pendant.
Yeah.
He did such a good job, I didn't even realize it. So
Yeah, no, that's dedication. I posted.
That is
this
some dedication.
This is why we love Phil B, because it's like,
he will redraw your flying toasters.
yeah. That's gonna be like a Hallmark card. I was just thinking how if I was ever given the opportunity, I would redraw flying toasters for you. I hope you have a good birthday.
Okay.
So anyways,
Lots of love.
yeah. So next up,
Get well soon.
okay. Yeah. So we have another 3D printing video. So we're catching up because we had guests and the new product. So this one is the plate, the 3D printing thing. Yeah. So this is a neat idea, and we had it in the store. It sold out. We're gonna get more soon, but here you go.
Hello everybody, welcome to another 3D Thursday. I'm Noah, and today we're taking a look at 3D printing build plates. Printing surfaces like glass and acrylic are the most common amongst 3D printers, but today we're taking a look at a very special printing build plate, one that actually makes it easy to remove prints and eliminates the use of tape, hairspray, glue stick, and other messy substances, and it's also so strong that it can flex. The Printed Z plate is a neat alternative and a great add-on to most 3D printers. This flexible build plate is made out of a unique fiberglass substrate, giving it the ability to bend without deforming, making it really easy to remove prints. This plate works with PLA, ABS, and NinjaFlex. It can be safely heated to about 100 C, and it's extremely strong and far less likely to break than glass. The texture on the surface is really similar to blue painter's tape and gives a rather leathery look to printed parts. It also features double-sided action, so you can print on both sides. The Printed Z plate comes in many different shapes and sizes. Here we have one for the Lulzbot Taz 4, rather large, and the PrinterBot Simple Metal. You can of course get these at the shop at adafruit.com, and if you're interested in other custom sizes, be sure to check out the link in the description below. This plate was designed to sit on top of the glass plate of the Lulzbot Taz 4, and installation is rather easy and straightforward as the platform is designed to be adjusted by loosening and tightening the screws on the build plate. But we also of course recommend adding a couple of binder clips to the sides just to give it more security and a bit more hold. Right, Adabot? Adjusting the leveling screws on the build plate requires a bit of tweaking, but it's a lot easier with the leveling script. You can run it by selecting the option in the menu on the Taz 4's control panel. For the PrinterBot Simple Metal, binder clips keep it secured to the metal platform, but notice this fashionably colored surface. This tint of pink color is actually copper material that allows the PrinterBot's Z-Probe distance sensor to detect the surface of the build plate. This special edition plate is optimized for printers that use auto sensor leveling to adjust its platform. So print removal is pretty straightforward. All you need to do is bend it just enough so that you can pop off your prints, and it really does save you the hassle and risk of damaging your prints or even yourself. But if you do, however, get a little bit too close and get messy, you'll be happy to know that it's okay to use solvents like acetone to remove any hard to remove material. And that's it. So what did you think about the Printed Z plate? Why not let me know in the comments below? Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you found this video to be informative, please let me know by giving it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe for more 3D printed videos from Adafruit.
Okay.
We're back.
And we're back. So don't forget, tomorrow, 3D Thursday Hangout
Yeah.
with Matt, Noah, and Pedro. Check it out. It's the longest running live 3D printing show online.
What surprises me is that we don't make 3D printers, right? Like, I don't want to make a 3D printer. I'm like staying out of this. But we have the 3D printing show.
Yeah, but you know what? I think it's because of that. Because
Yeah.
if you owned a 3D printing company,
Yeah.
you probably would need to take a huge risk showing everybody else's 3D printers.
That's true. We'll show anything. We don't care. Like,
Yeah.
we'll talk about every kind of 3D printer. Like we
Yeah.
talked about the Dremel. We have like no reason to not talk about whatever printer
Yeah,
there
I mean,
is.
we prefer open, as much as open as possible, 3D
Yeah.
printers. We sell the Taz. We
Yep.
were the first reseller, I believe.
Yep.
But you know, there's a whole giant 3D printing world out there. So we have experts, they have opinions, and that's every Thursday at 3
Okay.
p.m. There's nothing else like it.
And we have great projects every week,
Yep.
including toasters.
Okay, so big news in the world of Raspberry Pi.
Okay.
Big
I'm
news.
ready. I've switched gears from
Yeah.
3D printing to Raspberry Pi. What's new?
Well, what's new is there are now, guess how many units are out there?
5.
No.
What?
It's more than that.
Oh my god.
3.8 million Raspberry Pi units sold.
Wow.
So in February 2014, they hit 2.5.
Okay.
Here it is, October 13th when I posted this.
162,000 a month.
Yeah, 1.3 million they've sold since I posted up
And
the
that's
last
the
time.
B and B plus. I mean, yeah, I'm assuming.
It's all of them. Yeah, it's all of them.
What's interesting is actually been able to keep up with demand quite well. Like we have
Yeah.
not had any stock issues with Pis.
Yeah,
I thought they would. They've been able to ramp up.
yeah. So it's a big deal. So congratulations everyone who works
They're
with the foundation.
Unstoppable.
Yeah, and so what's neat
Force.
is, the Linux world had a big problem, which was, well, one day we'll have good desktop Linux, and like we'll get there one day and all that. And when you would, this is like years ago. I'm kind of remembering giant.
This is like the year of the Linux desktop, which
Yeah.
has been the year of the Linux desktop
And so-
since like 1998.
And then the conversation was, once we get to that, then we can teach young people programming. We can
Right.
we can get education out there. But there
Yeah.
wasn't a low cost Linux computer, and I think the idea of Linux desktop, we see it, it's out there, but the education side that the Raspberry Pi brought in kind of came out of nowhere, because no one in the open source software world was thinking, let's make a low cost Linux machine. They were very focused on the software. And the Pi folks came at it from another side. And I would say there's a good chance more kids are going to learn Python on a Raspberry Pi than maybe other ways that it was going to come into their lives.
What 3.8? That's more. That's like more than anything. I mean, I don't know of any other educational
3 million units. It's a lot.
Linux computer
Yeah.
that's out there. I mean,
So-
there's the commercial stuff like the like Leapfrog and stuff, but this is for like a device that you basically have to plug in an SD card and boot into like command line. 3.8 million is pretty amazing.
Yeah. So congratulations, it's a big deal. I keep track of the market share stuff because I like to have one post online
Yeah.
where if you search for like Raspberry Pi market share, it's good because a lot of people that are writing about this, they can't find the information.
yeah.
And so I kind of write it for myself. So when I'm asked or you're asked and someone
I didn't know it was
says,
just 3.8. I thought it was 3. I didn't realize it was basically
Yeah.
4.
So-
and in the holidays, people pick up a lot, and they're also getting to schools too. So this is they are a juggernaut.
okay.
Liz and Evan and the team that they have is amazing.
So if you want to pay less for anything Raspberry Pi related, you can use the code ALD14 tonight, all the way up till midnight, in celebration of 80 Lovelace Day, which is now probably officially over. I don't think it's October 14th anywhere in the world,
Yeah.
but we did the code, we extend a little bit. Okay, so Lady Ada, it's time. New products. Here it is. Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, get in your zone.
I'm in my zone.
Okay, we have some
agree.
updates. We have some updates.
Yes, we have actually this week was a big update week. As we're getting ready for the holiday, we're actually the holidays. We're revising and updating a lot of our packs. It's a good time to do it since a lot of people will be buying them. So this is actually. Can you go back one?
Yeah.
This is the update to the Raspberry Pi Model B pack. Now we carry the Model B Plus. But there's still some people who want the B, or maybe the B Plus is out of stock, or for some reason, whatever. We're still carrying the B, and we're still carrying the B starter pack. There might be some books that you want to follow along using a B. We updated the Pi B starter packs now that we have them back in stock, and here's a couple things we updated. First up, you still get an SD card, but the SD card is now pre-burned with Raspbian, so it's boot and forget it. Raspbian is super stable. It's the official OS, so you're ready to go. We also include premium wires, so like right here. Instead of the flexible wires, we now have really high quality wires, and they're longer, so they work really well with the long breadboard. You get fewer of them, but they're much better quality, and they work a lot better with the parts in the breadboard we have. So we've upgraded to premium wires. And then below that, down there, we have a little USB stick. That's a Wi-Fi adapter. We used to include Ethernet cable because Wi-Fi wasn't as stable. Now with in the last year, the Raspbian distribution has had very stable Wi-Fi, and this chipset, the RTL chipset, the real-time chipset, has been super, super solid. And so, yeah, we basically moved to just say, like, hey, just use Wi-Fi instead of Ethernet. And also a lot of people have Ethernet cords, so we have them in the store if you want them, but we strongly suggest just getting Wi-Fi. And we also have larger buttons, so they're easier to press, and we no longer include the USB burner because instead we have the SD card pre-burned. So I think that's improved a bunch of the stuff, especially the Wi-Fi upgrade, which is a big upgrade instead, because a lot of people end up just buying a USB Wi-Fi adapter at the same time.
Okay. Next up.
Okay, so here's just a photo showing all the images. You know, it's like the new Wi-Fi, the bigger buttons, same all the parts. Okay, skip ahead. And this just shows it all laid out nicely. This is, I think this is just a photo of the pack. We also have a pack that does not include a Pi. So we have the starter pack with Pi and without. And this just has basically the same parts, but does not include a Raspberry Pi. Some people already have one. And we thought, since we're doing this from the start, we make it so you have, if you have a Pi, just get the pack without one. Right.
Okay.
But it's only for the Model B. It won't fit the Model B Plus, so don't get this if you have a Model B Plus, because it won't fit in the case, and the cobbler won't fit, and you'll be sad. It'll be tragedy. Okay, and then next step, so skip ahead 2. We also upgraded the Raspberry Pi budget pack, and the budget pack is just meant to be like, this is the minimum to get your Raspberry Pi Model B going. Has a power supply and the USB cable, and it has a smaller breadboard and smaller wires. We upgraded this by giving you the premium wires, and also we have moved to, sorry, I'm trying to remember, I think, what else did we update? Oh no, sorry, we only upgraded the wires. I thought we included USB Wi-Fi, but this one never came up with Ethernet or Wi-Fi. So yeah, we just upgraded the wires, and we reduced the price a bit because of that.
Okay.
So it's even less expensive. So yeah, you need a Model B instead of B+. These are the great packs for you. Again, not suggested if you're starting out, get the B+ starter pack, but if you happen to need a Model B for some compatibility thing, these are still in the store.
Except another update.
Yes, this is an update. This is not a new item. We've had the Zuma for a while. This is from Pololu. It's an awesome little bot. You plug a Arduino into it. I think in the next photo it even shows you. Wow, look at that. You plug an Arduino into it, and you are ready to make your own little Zumo bot. This update has added, you can barely see it, but it now adds a gyro. So it used to have an accelerometer and magnetometer, so you can do compass and acceleration and location, but now it also adds a gyro, so you can do full 9 degrees of freedom IMU. It's good for your robotics. The price is the same, but they've upgraded it, and the sensors are a little bit higher quality. So if you want to zoom out, this is a very easy way to get started with Sumobotics.
Okay. And Pololu, super cool company. You should check out Pololu.com. They've been doing lots of cool projects and some videos.
Yep, they've been doing more tutorials and projects.
Yeah, so check out Pololu.com. Okay, next up, pliers.
These are crimpers, not pliers.
Pliers,
Man,
crimpers.
You,
I know.
You can't just go ahead and say pliers,
Yeah,
not
they're
pliers.
not pliers. There's nothing to do with plying.
They're not for plying
These are
at
crimpers.
all. These are for crimpers.
I saw the thumbnail and I'm like, are these pliers? Are these
They look like pliers.
Yeah, these are really good. These are from Engineer.
They're from Engineer, a Japanese company, and we have a couple other versions of this plier. We have the PA09 and the PA21, and this is the PA20. It's got really, really high quality crimping action. If you're making wire harnesses, and you know how much that sucks, it's the most sucky part of doing engineering. This tool will help you a lot. It can handle a wide range of crimp sizes and wire sizes. Check the Engineer website. They have a table for, this is the connector you're using, this is the crimper tool we suggest, which covers like the inner crimper and outer crimper, because you'll need 2 different sizes for that. So yeah, check out their site for exactly which one you want for which, but they're very, very high quality tools. And even though these look a lot like the really cheap crimpers that you get that are like $10, these are like much, much higher quality, very precision ground, so you'll get very, very high quality crimps. Your wires won't break or crack, which is a common problem when making wire harnesses using cheap crimpers.
Yep.
Don't
Okay.
cheap out on your crimpers.
Okay, next up.
New from Monk Makes. This is the Raspberry Pi Leaf for the B+. I'll show this on the overhead because it's a little confusing what it is. Oh, that's me.
We are underneath the overhead. No, we're not. We're right
Okay.
here.
So this is a Raspberry Pi Model B Plus, and you can see it's got the 40 pins. So many pins. It's actually kind of hard to know. Like you're like, oh, the ground pin. You're like, where the hell is that? So what this leaf does is it's a thick kind of piece of cardstock with all the names of all the pins labeled very nicely, so that when you're like, oh, I have to connect to a ground wire, you will be able to easily connect to the wire you want, or pin GPIO 5. Works great with libraries, wiring. It's basically if you don't want to get a cobbler, you want to keep something small, and you just use wires with socket ends, and we have a bunch of those in the store. So it doesn't come with the wires shown here, but we have them in the shop, and they make wiring very easy. So this is very, very good if you want to very quickly wire up to your Model B+. And you get 2 of them.
Okay. So that was just a close-up of it there. All right, next up. Pliers. I'm just gonna.
Man,
I'm just gonna go with it.
that would be sweet if you just said that everything was pliers.
And here's another
You're like the
photo of the
you're
plier.
like the Hodor of electronics.
Yeah.
Pliers. Okay, this is a HDMI cable, and it's just a short HDMI cable. And the reason we have this is we have like these HDMI monitors. These are like really high quality 720p monitors, and you may want to say like put your Raspberry Pi or your BeagleBone on the back. Well, in case Raspberry Pi because there's an HDMI connector on it. But this is a short cable, and so you don't have a big tangle, and they're also flat, so they can crimp close. So like if you want to make this really compact, you could just use a clip, like maybe like a paper clip, a thick paper clip or a binder clip, and just not binder ties, the zip ties, to keep this folded over, and then you can have a very compact HDMI connection to your Raspberry Pi or something. So we thought these would be handy for projects that used our monitors and wanted to avoid this like long cable mess. These are the shortest cables we could get. We could not find cables any shorter. We could find adapters that were shorter, but not a flexible cable. You can it's thin and flexible. It's a noodle type, so you can like really mess around with it and tuck it into small locations. So if anyone can find a shorter cable, like 6 inches, let me know. Couldn't find one. This is the shortest we get.
Here's a plier breakout board. All right, I'll stop with the plier jigs. It's not because it's mostly not.
fine.
It's mostly because it's not funny.
It's funny.
yeah.
I think it's funny.
Yeah,
Wait,
all right.
Go back. Okay, so this is a really quickie breakout. It's a LM4040 that K-Town designed, and he designed this actually because he's like, I personally need voltage references, because he was measuring some analog digital converter stuff, and it was just a pain because you want to have a really, really good precision reference for your analog digital converter. And you can just say like, oh, I'll use USB 5 volts, but the voltage that comes out of your wall adapter from the USB, it's not going to be exactly 5 volts. It's going to be like 5.1, 4.9. It's going to be off by like 5%. Like voltage regulators have 2 to 5% accuracy. They're not that accurate.
I tell you what I like about you engineers is when you make something for you, and then you get all giddy, and you're like, oh, this is a good thing for the store too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. So
this is a K-Town joint.
Yeah.
And we stuck 2 types of precision voltage references on there. There is, go forward one.
Yeah.
2.048 volts and 4.096 volts, which actually, it sounds like a weird number, but it means that if you have a 10 or 12-bit ADC, you get 1 bit per millivolt, which is kind of nice. It divides nicely. You don't have to use both. Use either VIN, have it be from 3 volts to like 12 volts, 5 volts if you want to have the 4 volt reference. And these are not regulators. They will not give you regulated output. They're not for powering something. They are for measuring. So if you want to calibrate something, these are very, very high precision references. They're advertised as 0.1, but I want to say like assume 0.2. Like we tried to get really good ones, but we noticed that depending on your voltage and the temperature and whatever, they may vary a teeny bit. They're very, very good. But like, don't freak out if they're 0.2% instead of 0.1%, depending on what you're powering it with. Remember, if you want to really,
and then
Oh, I have one.
You have an action shot, right?
This is an action shot. This is K-Town's Agilent like benchtop multimeter that we bought him. I don't even know how many hundreds of dollars this cost, but you can tell it's very precise, measuring the 2-volt output. It's 2.048 volts DC. And if you go to the overhead, I can actually demo this.
Yeah, this is a cool tool.
With
Kevin's worth. I want to send him more equipment because I know he'll do amazing things with it.
No, this was like I'm actually like, wow, we got this expensive multimeter. Let's use it.
Yeah, it was cool. I think K-Town's in the chat tonight. Say hi to Kevin.
All right, say hi to K-Town.
All right, so you want to do
So
this
yeah, I'll
overhead?
show it on the overhead real fast. So this is, I'm just using like my low-cost pocket meter that I really like. And then I just have it powered off of the inverter, which I'll show next. So it's providing 5 volts. And then I can measure from ground to 2 volts. Hold on. Oh, get in there. So yeah, 2.47, very, very close to 2.48. It's a good multimeter. And then I measure the 4 volt and a little bit, yeah, it's basically 4.10, just very, very close to 4.096. It's actually 0.004 4 millivolts off, which is very good for a pocket multimeter. So you can use this to measure how accurate your multimeter or precise your multimeter is, and also, you know, use for your analog digital converters, or if you want to just like check if something's working. This little guy is very handy. Okay.
Okay.
Moving on.
Moving on. Last but not least.
You named this.
Yeah, this is the Verter.
Yeah, not pliers. Verter.
Yeah.
And we got some cool silkscreen on the back. Check out this cool silkscreen.
Yeah.
Yeah, fancy.
So this is
That's your
Verter.
design.
Yeah. So this is really neat because you just throw anything at this thing and it's like 5 volts.
Yeah, this is a buck boost.
Yeah.
Which this is the first buck boost we have in the store. We have.
It's a weird. It's kind of weird. When people hear about this, they're like, "What do you mean? Wait, what?
What is it? What is it? Yeah, what is that? When you're converting voltages for power, you can use either a linear regulator, which burns off, whatever the difference is between the high and low voltages heat. But then maybe you have to boost a voltage. You have to get it from 3 volts up to 5 volts. You can't use a linear regulator. You have to use a boost converter. So we have the power boost and the power boost shield. But if you have that goes from low voltages to high, and then you have a buck converter which goes from high voltages to low. But then there's this weird problem where this is actually the problem you have with 4 AA batteries. This is the 4 AA battery problem, which is 4 AA's, depending on whether you use rechargeables or alkalines, whether they're really fresh or not, can vary from 4 volts to 7 volts. Yeah. But 4 AA batteries is a really nice chunk of battery. So it clearly is very close to 5 volts, but it's not exactly. So this is a buck boost converter, and what that does is it combines both a buck converter and a boost converter in one chip, and it dynamically switches between the two as necessary. So if the voltage is 5 volts or above, it down converts, and if it's 3 volts or up, it up converts. So it will automatically, you can have 3 volts or 12 volts in, and it will just automatically give you 5 volts out no matter what, which is very handy when you don't know what your battery is going to be, or your battery starts at 7 volts and droops down to 4, which is, again, the 4 AA battery problem. Or you're working with some system where somebody will plug in a battery or power adapter, you don't know what they're going to plug in. So this is a handy device. It uses the TPS 63060, which is a very fine chip. It can take 3 to 12 volts in, and in this case we set up to be 5 volts out. And then can we go to the next one?
Yeah, which one? The next one?
The next one.
The next one.
The next one.
Okay.
This is the demo. This is a 4 AA battery test. It can take 4 batteries, AA batteries in. Of course, you can use anything from about 2 AA batteries to up to 8 for a 12 volt. And it will give you a nice, fresh 5 volts out. We have a USB plug that you can solder in. And it has the resistors on it for iOS devices, so that when you plug it in, it will automatically start charging at 500 milliamps.
Yeah.
Very handy. We'll say one thing about this chip, though. It does work, and it will do boosting and bucking just fine. However, it's much better at buck converting than boost converting. So It's not a good idea to use this if you know that you're never going to have anything that goes above like 5 volts. If you're using like 3 AA batteries or a LiPo battery or a lithium ion battery, and you're like, well, I know that my battery is never going to go above like 5 volts, you should use a boost converter like the Power Boost, because this one droops a little bit. It doesn't have a really nice tight 5 volt output. Actually, it's 5.2 volts.
So better. It's better as a buck versus a boost.
It is, because a buck conversion is easier on the chip. There's less heat involved because it's chopping it up instead of trying to like fill this inductor. So when you're using it as a buck converter, you can get an amp out, and if you're doing it as a boost converter, it's 500 milliamps. So basically, if you want high current, especially, use it at the higher than 5 volt range. But it can handle it if you droop down a little bit. Also, some buck converters can't handle less than like 1 volt difference. Like you can't go below 6 volts, and in this case you can. So it's good if you're like, especially this 4AA problem where you're like, it's going to be mostly above 5 volts, but it might droop below. You're safe. It will automatically convert to a booster. So I think it's a handy chip. It might also be useful for we might have a version out that can do 3.3 volts out, and that would be handy for LiPos, because LiPos, again, they range from 3 volts when they're dead to 4 volts. So that's when you do want to have something that can convert between the two ranges of battery outputs to 3 volts. So that might be a future product. So that's what it's good for. But if you know you're going to be low or you know you're going to be high, we have buck converters and boost converters that are much better at it. They're specifically for that purpose.
Okay. All right, that's it.
That's it.
Good work. New products. You did it.
Yay.
Okay. If you saw anything there that you were like, you can use the code ALD14.
Yay, all that stuff is in stock.
In stock, and 10% off. Okay, Lydia, we're going to do some questions.
Yeah, sure. Let's do some questions.
And then we're going to get out of here. Running a little bit late.
Yes.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
So the first question is, should I be able to use a microserver with the Power Boost 500 shield?
Yeah, I think you should be able to do it. Just make sure your servos draw a lot of current. So just make sure that it really doesn't draw that much. You might also want to put a nice big capacitor on the 5 volt line for your servo to help smooth out, because it can be very spiky.
Okay. Let's see. Let me go back here. Next up. Oh, do you remember what this CD is for?
That's the CD that comes with the Wi-Fi adapter. We always shoot it to remove that. It's not needed for the Pi, but it comes with the Wi-Fi adapter, so that it has like drivers for like Windows and Mac.
Yeah, we should probably just get rid of that.
Yeah, well, we just took photos of everything, and then after the photos taken, I was like, oh wait, whatever.
Okay.
Yes, whatever. We can Photoshop it out, but then like it would be this big empty space.
Okay. Can you just briefly go over again the differences between buck and boost?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a tough one.
Okay.
Buck converters will convert from high voltages down, and then a boost converter will convert from low voltages up. So usually you have a chip that can only do one or the other. So if you gave a boost converter too high a voltage, it wouldn't be able to do, it would actually freak out and maybe break. And if you gave a buck converter too low a voltage, it also would not work at all. But if you have a buck boost converter, it's a special chip that has capabilities of both. So as the voltage goes between the below and above the output, it will automatically turn from a buck to a boost converter. And that makes it like very, very flexible.
Okay, next up. Where did it go? Would the inverter be good for output for a solar charger board?
Probably not, because there's no feedback loop. I mean, with solar, because solar is constant current, it's really freaky. You have to make sure that you aren't drawing too much current. For solar projects, I actually really suggest just using our solar charger board, which we have, which will take it and charge a LiPo with a solar cell, and then use a boost converter to get to the 5 volts you want. That's kind of the best way to get the most solar out. If you connect this to a solar panel, as long as you happen to always draw less than the solar panel was providing, you'd be fine. But the moment you do take a little bit more, the solar panel voltage collapses, and you don't get anything.
Ready?
What?
Speed round, Lady Ada.
Okay.
All right. This first one is the Z plate for the PrintBot Simple in the store. No, it's coming soon.
Coming soon.
Next up, will we ever sell project boxes in the store?
We do.
Okay.
They're called enclosures. We have these waterproof enclosures. We have 2 sizes.
Okay. Next
We'll also
up.
sell, of course, Arduino enclosures. And
Okay,
Pi enclosures.
working on a DIY workbench power supply. Just can't seem to find a large enough cap with decent time constant suggestions.
Oh, sorry. With a decent time constant. For a DIY workbench power supply, usually you just use a ginormous, like 10,000 or at least, or 22,000 or 47,000 microfarad capacitor with like whatever 16 or 25 volts, and then put ceramic caps as necessary to help deal with the high frequency stuff.
Okay, next up. What's the amperage out of the inverter?
The inverter can do 500 milliamps ish as a boost converter, so 3 to 5 volts in, and an amp or more out from 5 volts to 12 buck conversion mode.
Okay.
Buck conversion is more efficient than boost.
Next up, go to your online tool for identifying mystery electronic components by part number.
Boy, that is tough. The first thing I would do is look for a logo, because that will tell you at least where to start. Look for like a TI logo.
I Google the
maybe-
numbers.
You can Google a number, but you have to watch out not to Google the date code.
Yeah.
Also, if they're very small chips, sometimes there will be like a 3-digit marking code. Sometimes if you type in marking code and then the number, that will get it for you, so you don't end up like getting like weird like PDFs or like, you know, OCR data, whatever. But if you have if you look at the logo, and if there's a logo or a marking for the company, that'll help you, because at least that way you can drill down through that site. So that's what I do for the teardowns.
Okay.
Also, if you know the package, searching for the package as well. If you're like, oh, that's a QFN or SOIC or TSOP, if you put that package name in your search, that'll help you narrow it down, because it will only pull up like a data sheet or results that actually have that package mentioned in it.
Okay, and that's it for tonight.
Okay.
Good work. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
Thank you, all the amazing women that are part of Adafruit for Adafruit Love Life Day. Thank you so much. Shout out to all the folks that we covered on the site. That was a fun day. It doesn't end now. So if you know a young person out there who could be sparked to go on a path of science, technology, engineering, and math, you should do something like get them a kit, or get them into electronics, or as you saw in the show and tell, sometimes it just takes showing the magic of what LEDs are that puts you on a path.
You could be that grandmother and grandfather that inspires the next generation.
Modding and hacking things get a lot of people started. You got your start in electronics by mod chips.
Yeah, but also, like, you know, my dad was into computers, and so that was kind of like, you know, he bought a computer, and I was like, whoa, there's a computer now. So what is this thing?
You never know what it's going to be.
Yeah.
So everyone out there, do your part and get
But
more
she
people
told me that you
involved.
can't solder with plumber solder, because if I'd known that, I would have probably gone to electronics a little sooner.
Okay.
I thought there's something wrong with me.
Okay, so don't forget the code is ALD14, 10% off in the Adafruit store. We'll see everybody next week, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, every Wednesday. Ask an Engineer, 5 years and running the live
Soon it'll be
electronics
6.
show. Yeah, so next year it'll be. And we'll see everybody
Awesome testers.
next week. Here's a picture of MOSFET, and here is your moment of Zener.